December 10, 2008. An apartment on East 64th Street, Manhattan. Two grown men sit across from their father, waiting for an explanation. All week Bernie Madoff has been acting strange, paying employee bonuses months early, visibly under strain as clients demanded their money back. Now the most trusted man on Wall Street looks at his sons and gives it to them straight. The returns, the statements, the business their whole family is built on. All of it one big lie. $50 billion gone. Maybe more. And Mark and Andrew Madoff do something almost nobody else in this story managed to do. The right thing. They walk out, they call a lawyer, and the lawyer calls the federal government. By the next morning, FBI agents are standing in their father's doorway. But here's the part that should actually scare you. One man had been telling regulators, in writing for nearly 9 years, exactly what Bernie Madoff was. And nobody listened. I'm Onyx, and this is Fortune and Ruin TV, true stories of money, power, and the moment it all falls apart. If you like your history told with receipts, subscribing is free, and it tells me to keep digging. Now back to the lie. To understand the biggest Ponzi scheme in history, you first have to understand why nobody wanted it to be one. Bernie Madoff wasn't some outsider clawing his way in. He was the establishment. In 1960, a kid from Queens took about $5,000 saved from lifeguarding at Rockaway Beach and installing sprinkler systems, and founded Madoff Investment Securities. And that firm was genuinely brilliant. Madoff was a pioneer of electronic trading, one of the market makers whose technology helped build what became the NASDAQ. He was so respected that he served as chairman of the NASDAQ stock market in the early 90s. His firm handled a meaningful slice of the daily trading volume in American stocks. Regulators didn't just tolerate Bernie Madoff. They asked him for advice. That resume was the foundation of the con. Because alongside the legitimate trading operation, Madoff ran a quiet investment advisory business, and getting in was not easy. That was the genius of it. He turned people away. He made wealthy investors beg. At country clubs in Palm Beach and on Long Island, membership came with a whispered perk. Maybe, if you knew the right people, Bernie would take your money. And the pitch was never a pitch. Nobody sold you Madoff. A friend mentioned him at dinner, a golf partner bragged about his statements, and suddenly you were the one asking for the favor. Charities, universities, Jewish community organizations that trusted him like family, they all handed him their futures. Regulators and fraud experts would later describe it as affinity fraud. He hunted where he was loved. And the returns? 10 to 12%. Every year. Up markets, down markets, .com crash, it didn't matter. When anyone asked how, Madoff mumbled about a split-strike conversion strategy, a phrase engineered to sound too sophisticated to question. Here's the thing about a return chart that's smooth. It doesn't exist in nature. Real markets breathe. Madoff's line just climbed. The truth lived on the 17th floor. Madoff's real traders worked upstairs in the Lipstick Building on 3rd Avenue. But the 17th floor was different. Restricted access, aging computers, and a small crew led by a man named Frank DiPascali, who prosecutors said manufactured the entire universe Madoff's clients thought they lived in. Fake trade confirmations. Fake account statements, thousands of them, printed and mailed every month. And here's the punchline from the court record. For the advisory clients, investigators found no evidence that Madoff made any real trades at all. The buying and selling simply never happened. Money came in, money went out to anyone who asked, and the gap was papered over with ink. By his own later admission in court, DiPascali could backdate a trade to any day he wanted, pluck the perfect price out of historical data, and print a statement showing a profit that was never real. It was the oldest scam in the book, paying old investors with new investors' cash, running at a scale Charles Ponzi himself could never have imagined. By the end, roughly 4,800 client accounts showed $65 billion in wealth that did not exist. Which brings us to the man nobody listened to. In late 1999, A quant in Boston named Harry Markopolos was asked by his bosses to reverse engineer Madoff's returns, because clients kept asking why they couldn't match them. Markopolos ran the numbers and concluded within hours that the returns were impossible. Either Madoff was front-running his brokerage customers, or he was running a Ponzi scheme. In May 2000, Markopolos handed his analysis to the SEC. Nothing happened. He went back in 2001. Nothing. In 2005, he submitted a memo whose title left no room for doubt. The world's largest hedge fund is a fraud. 29 red flags, math included. Financial trade publications had raised their own questions as far back as 2001. The SEC actually examined Madoff's operation more than once, and, as the agency's own Inspector General later documented in brutal detail, examiners essentially took Bernie's word for it. One confirmation request to the clearinghouse would have revealed there were no trades. That request was never sent. Markopolos later told Congress he had gift-wrapped the world's largest Ponzi scheme and delivered it to them. If that sentence makes your blood boil, this channel exists for you. I break down a case like this every week, and subscribing is how you make sure the next one finds you. So what finally killed it? Not a regulator. Not a journalist. Arithmetic. A Ponzi scheme has one rule: more money must come in than goes out. In the fall of 2008, the entire financial system caught fire, and suddenly everyone needed their cash at once. Hedge funds, banks, charities, all of them turning to the one manager who had never lost them a dime. Panicked clients asked Madoff for roughly $7 billion back. Prosecutors said he had only a fraction of that left. In early December, he began to crack, and on December 10th came the meeting you saw at the start. December 11th, early morning, FBI agents arrived at his apartment door. According to the arresting agent's affidavit, they asked whether there was an innocent explanation. Madoff answered that there was no innocent explanation. He was arrested on the spot, and the SEC filed fraud charges that same day. The most trusted man on Wall Street lasted less than 24 hours after telling the truth for the first time. What followed was one of the fastest falls in financial history. On March 12, 2009, Bernie Madoff stood in a federal courtroom and pleaded guilty to 11 felonies, including securities fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and perjury. No trial. No cooperation deal. And on June 29, 2009, Judge Denny Chin handed down the maximum: 150 years in prison, calling the fraud extraordinarily evil. When the sentence was read, a courtroom full of his victims broke into applause. But sentences don't unruin lives. Some of Madoff's victims were billionaires. Most were not. They were teachers, dentists, retired firefighters, small family foundations, people whose entire future lived inside one of those fake statements. Eli Wiesel's humanitarian foundation was gutted. Hadassah hospitals, universities, pension funds, all of them took direct hits. The trustee appointed to recover the money, Irving Picard, put the real cash losses at roughly $17.5 billion, and then did something remarkable. Through lawsuits and clawbacks, his team recovered more than $14 billion of it, one of the great asset hunts ever conducted. The paper profits, though the other tens of billions, had never existed at all. And the family at the center of it collapsed with everything else. Madoff's brother Peter pleaded guilty to conspiracy and falsifying records, and was sentenced to 10 years. Frank DiPascali pleaded guilty and cooperated with prosecutors. Mark Madoff, the son who turned his father in, died by suicide on December 11, 2010, 2 years to the day after the arrest. His brother Andrew died of cancer in 2014, after saying publicly that his father's crime had killed Mark quickly and was killing him slowly. And Bernie Madoff died in a federal prison medical center in North Carolina on April 14, 2021, at 82, 12 years into a 150-year sentence. Here's what I keep coming back to. Madoff didn't fool people with complexity. He fooled them with comfort. The returns were too smooth, the access too exclusive, the man too respectable, and every red flag doubled as a selling point. Nobody audits a miracle they are inside of. The scariest fraud isn't the one that outsmarts the system. It's the one the system decides it would rather not see. If you want more true stories like this one, documented, sourced, no mythology, there's a new one here every week, and subscribing means you won't miss the next collapse. I'm Onyx. This has been Fortune and Ruin TV.